Is Mozart really the greatest composer of all time? Why do some musicians still believe no one ever surpassed him? And why do others say he is overrated? Royal courts did not just invite Mozart, they paraded him. In Vienna, the Empress Maria Theresa ordered a test. The keys of the harpsichord were covered. The child's hands danced over the invisible notes. Every pitch, every chord, flawless. Eyewitnesses wrote that he played like a person possessed, pounding out music with a force that stunned the room. Not just a parlor trick, but a demonstration of something uncanny. The family moved like a traveling sensation, city to city, Munich, Paris, London, each stop marked by newspapers advertising the boy who could improvise on command. In Paris, a court official's diary marveled at his astonishing sight reading, while in London, Mozart faced the ultimate challenge. Daines Barrington, a Fellow of the Royal Society, handed him an unfamiliar duet. Mozart glanced at the page, then played both parts at once, singing the soprano and playing the accompaniment, correcting his father's mistakes mid-performance. Barrington's report survives. He beat his harpsichord like a person possessed, rising sometimes in his chair. But even more telling than the applause are the artifacts left behind. The Nannel Notenbuch, a battered family notebook, holds a minuet in F, dated July 16, 1762, signed in a child's uneven hand, Die Wolfgango Mozart. He was 5. The manuscript is real, no legend, no exaggeration. These are not stories passed down through family law, they are entries, receipts, court diaries, and reviews stamped and filed by people with no stake in the myth. Maria Theresa's court diary, London's payment ledgers, Parisian press ads, all point to a child who didn't just impress but unsettled, even intimidated, the world's most jaded audiences. So was this genius innate, or was something else at work? The evidence is overwhelming, but the question lingers. Does early brilliance guarantee true greatness, or just early fame? The proof is there in black and white, but the meaning, that's still up for debate. Mozart's manuscripts don't just show genius, they reveal an almost unnatural speed. Ink-layer analysis on the overture to The Marriage of Figaro tells the story. Barely any corrections, almost no second-guessing. The ratio from draft to final isn't 2-to-1, or even close. It is about 1.2-to-1. That means for every page of music he finished, there is just a sliver of revision, sometimes only a single altered line. On the page, the notes flow in a continuous, confident hand. Modern imaging finds the original ink strokes nearly untouched, as if Mozart could see the entire score before it left his mind. Compare that to Beethoven, whose sketches are a battlefield of cross-outs and rewrites. Beethoven's process was agony, Mozart's looks like instinct. During the feverish months of 1785, Mozart was paid 300 ducats for a commission, yet his own ledger shows him spending 30% more than he earned. Even as he composed at a speed that left others in awe, the numbers on the page told a different story, one of mounting debts, creditors at the door, and the constant threat of financial collapse. The paradox is striking. Here was a man who could write a symphony in a week, an opera overture in a single night, but couldn't escape the grind of patronage and the anxiety of unpaid bills. Court records from Salzburg list him as Konzertmeister, but the title came with a salary that barely covered rent, let alone the cost of living in Vienna. Royal commissions brought prestige, but payment was sporadic, often delayed, and never enough to secure true independence. For all the elegance and ease in his music, Mozart's reality was anything but effortless. The myth of the untouchable genius collides with the evidence of a working artist, hustling for the next fee, chasing the next commission, and sometimes gambling just to keep food on the table. Was his speed a sign of divine inspiration, or a necessity driven by the relentless pressure to produce? The manuscripts are silent on motive, but the facts are clear. Mozart's life was a race between brilliance and bankruptcy, each new masterpiece written with one eye on the clock and the other on his creditors. The Marriage of Figaro, Don Giovanni, the Requiem. These aren't just masterpieces, they are lightning in a bottle. Figaro, premiered in 1786, opens with a burst of energy that never lets up, weaving 12 voices through puzzles of harmony and wit. Don Giovanni, unleashed on Prague in 1787, storms from comedy to terror in a single act, bending the orchestra to paint the supernatural. The Requiem, unfinished at Mozart's death in 1791, is a study in darkness. Its lacrimosa so raw that even Beethoven called it the work of a soul in agony. But is this perfection, or just polish? Critics line up their objections. Beethoven's sketches are a war zone, crossed-out pages, rewritten themes, a struggle for every note. Yet, in those scars, some hear greater depth. Beethoven's letters mention Mozart more than 150 times. But he also wrote that Mozart's ease is both his gift and his curse. For Beethoven, greatness meant breaking boundaries, not just mastering them. Bach, by contrast, stacked fugue on fugue, building cathedrals of sound that make Mozart's clarity look almost simple. Some argue that Mozart's music, for all its beauty, never reaches the technical labyrinth of Bach's counterpoint or the emotional extremes of Beethoven's Ninth. Mozart's defenders point to the numbers, more than 800 works in 35 years, a melodic vocabulary so expansive that even Schubert and Mahler borrowed his motifs. The Mannheim rocket that launches his Symphony No. 25 rockets forward again in Beethoven's Eroica. Motif migration studies trace Mozart's fingerprints across a century of Western music. His operatic ensembles became blueprints for Verdi and Wagner. The Requiem's D minor to C major tension echoes in Schubert's late symphonies. And yet, his life was short. His output, though vast, is dwarfed by Bach's 1,000 works. Is Mozart's legacy the gold standard, or just the most imitated? Every argument for Mozart's supremacy meets a counterpunch. Every claim to effortless genius is shadowed by the charge of being too perfect, too polished, too safe. Maybe greatness is struggle, maybe it's elegance, or maybe it's the shock of hearing a single phrase and feeling the world tilt. The evidence is overwhelming, but the ledger is anything but settled. 12% of every classical stream in 2023 belonged to Mozart. That's not just a statistic, it's a cultural tremor, echoing through headphones, car radios, gym playlists, and midnight study sessions around the world. His name sits beside Beyoncé and Drake on Spotify's global charts. In a digital universe where the past usually fades, Mozart's sound is everywhere, alive, viral, impossible to ignore. But the numbers don't stop at streaming. More than 250 film and television soundtracks have licensed his music. From the slow burn tension of The Shawshank Redemption to the wild excess of Amadeus, directors reach for Mozart when they want instant recognition and emotional punch. His melodies slip into commercials, cartoons, even video games, used as shorthand for elegance, wit, or sometimes pure chaos. In a world that churns through trends at warp speed, his notes still cut through the noise. Step into any top conservatory, Juilliard, Berlin, Moscow, and Mozart is not just recommended. He's mandatory. First-year pianists face the sonata in C major, violinists tackle his concertos, singers memorize arias from The Marriage of Figaro. The Requiem appears on every musicology exam. For students, Mozart isn't a relic. He's the baseline, the obstacle, the test of whether you have what it takes to move forward. His music sets the standard for clarity, balance, and emotional directness. Fail to master Mozart, and you're not just behind, you're out of the conversation. And now, science weighs in. A 2024 functional magnetic resonance imaging study scanned listeners as they heard Eine kleine Nachtmusik. The result was clear. Mozart's melodies triggered the brain's reward pathways more powerfully than any other classical excerpt tested. The pleasure centers lit up, dopamine surged, and subjects described the experience as unexpectedly joyful. It's not myth or marketing, his music really does light up the brain. So why does Mozart still dominate our playlists, our movies, our classrooms, even our neurons? Maybe it's because greatness isn't just about invention or complexity. Maybe it's about connection, the kind that refuses to fade, even centuries later. Today, Mozart's music still fills more concert halls and streaming playlists than any other classical composer. But greatness resists easy verdicts. As long as perfection and possibility collide in every note, the debate never ends. The real test isn't history's answer, it's how his music moves you now. What's your verdict?